Now, former President John Dramani Mahama has questioned the credibility of the economic management team as he labels them as lacking the credibility to be trusted to turn around the economy. Mr. Mahama this morning started his tour of the Greater Accra region with a visit to the Katamanso constituency, where he interacted with a delegate. Now, listen to him criticize the government's handling of the economy.
In 2016, I wouldn't say that Ghana was a paradise, but our situation was far better than it is today. In 2016, our colleagues, the MPP, told a lot of lies about us. They labeled us as incompetent, and they came with a lot of big and sweet promises to the people of Ghana, and used that to persuade people that there will be a better government than we were. And so the people of Ghana tried them by voting for them. They said they should try them. Somishe, try me and see. And that was the mistake the people of Ghana made, because we have come to realize that after all, we have the men. It was station boys. They don't know anything. If you take our ministers who were running this country in 2016 and compare with their ministers who are running Ghana today, pound for pound, our ministers were far better than any of them. We solved many difficult challenges. Doomsday was not created by us. It was the lack of generation capacity over the years. And so when we came into office, we were confronted with it. We did not run away. We did not shift the blame to somebody. I could have said President Rawlings and Kufuor and President Mills did not add new generation. That's why. But what we did was we took responsibility. I went to Parliament, I said, yes, okay, you elected us to take responsibility. We take responsibility and we shall fix it. And truly, by the time we left in 2016, we have fixed the Doomsday.
Now, according to him, a vote for the governing NPP in 2024 will completely destroy the country's future. In Mr. Mahama's view, the excessive borrowing of the NPP government will have serious implications for the country's future. Speaking to delegate of the NDC at Ningo Pram here in the Greater Accra region, John Mahama said the NPP poses a threat to the future of Ghana. He said the performance of the NPP has really vindicated his government.
That we were incompetent, that we didn't know how to administer. Ghanaians should vote against us, and that when they come, they will change Ghana in 1.5 years. The money is there. I've worked in Bank of Ghana before. I know the money is there. We don't have to borrow to develop this country. Now today, look at it. We are suffering. Teachers are suffering. Nurses are suffering. Drivers are suffering. You remember they said all that. And they touted their economic management team. Senior Minister Osafo Mafo, Professor Jambafo, Alan Trematin, Dr. Kojo Efriye. I mean, what a solid team. Look at where the solid team has landed us. And today, many of those who are part of that solid team are separating themselves and behaving as if they were not part of it. My friend Alan Cash, he wants to run for president. He was part of that solid team. But now he says that MPP has become a no-action, talk-only party. You heard him. He said MPP has become NATO, no-action, talk-only party. And that's how they've always been. God has gifted them with a very sweet mouth. And so they come and they'll tell you the things you want to hear. But we've gone through what has happened over the last few years. And it happened for a purpose. Because with the kinds of promises they made and the kinds of things they said, if we had continued in government, whatever we do, Ghanaians will say, oh, if MPP had come, they would have done better. And so that's why God let us come down in 2016. In 2020, we went looking for it. But when I look back again, I can see that it was God's design that we should not come into office yet. Because they had dug a big hole in the economy. And they were thinking that we will come and fall into that hole and take it. And God said, no, stand aside. Those who dug that hole, let they themselves come and fall into their hole. Because with what is happening today, if we were in office, we would have had to take the kind of tough decisions that they are having to take. And they are going to sit aside and say, we told you, NDC has come again. You see how Ghanaians are suffering, but they are the ones who have caused that suffering. So let them start cleaning up the mess. And then when we come, we will stabilize the economy, we will build businesses again, and create opportunities for all Ghanaians.
Meanwhile, deep cracks still remain within the NDC, even as appeals committees in all regions complete their work today. Now, let's start off from the OT region, specifically the Buem constituency, where more than 80 branch executives are protesting the disqualification of one of the parliamentary aspirants. Godwin Dankwa was last week disqualified by the OT Regional Vetting Committee on grounds of not meeting the minimum qualification. At a press conference, the group warned that if the appeals committee failed to look at their concerns, they would not hesitate to cast their parliamentary vote for other candidates in the 2024 parliamentary election. Spokesperson for the aggrieved group, Aaron Anewu, joins us live with more. Aaron, grateful that you could join us here. Now, the appeals committee sat today on your petition. What was the outcome?
Good evening, my brother. And then thank you for giving me this opportunity. Good evening, my brother. And then thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on this issue. All right, yes, it's true. The appeal committee started their work yesterday at our area. But as it is now, we have sent the issue to the national. So we hope that national will take a good care of that issue so that we can have a peaceful election in the Buem constituency. So for now, that is what I can speak on appeal issues.
Interesting. Now, party executives promised to support your petition. We also understand the party executives are were logged in a meeting today. What did they say when they were done with the meeting?
Yeah, are you talking about today's meeting?
Exactly. What was the outcome?
Oh, okay. As for the outcome, as I said earlier on, that we have already handed over the issue to national. So we are waiting patiently for national to come out with a final decision.
Okay. So there wasn't any conclusion taking on your petition at the constituency level today?
No.
Okay.
No, there wasn't any final conclusion over there.
Okay. So you guys have not decided to take any action until the national speaks, right?
Yes. We are waiting for national to speak before any action will be taken.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm grateful. Now, let's take you to the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency, where some aspirants were not vetted. Now, one of the aspirants, Moses Barefia Champon, joins us with details of that. So, I mean, the issue had to be that in Ayawaso West constituency, when the party decided that one of the aspirant, John Dumelo, has to be vetted on the day that two others were denied. Now, one of those aspirants who were denied is petitioning for the party to look into this particular matter. What has become of his petition, we'll be finding out. Now, the party will be joining us shortly. Mustafa Bande is the Deputy General Secretary. Will be joining us on what the party has been doing to ensure that they resolve all of these issues and more. Now, we'll be back to the story with more details, but let's take you to the IMF bailout because barely 24 hours after announcing a May deadline to secure an IMF deal, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta seemed to have backtracked on this definite date, urging caution as he points out an outstanding critical requirement which is simply out of the nation's control. Now, this outstanding requirement is Ghana's creditors submitting assurances of agreeing to restructure debt to the IMF board. More on this shortly. But first, listen to Ken Ofori-Atta announcing the May deadline while engaging investors in Washington, D.C.
For your energy, interest, and positive reportage that the media has generated regarding our current trip to Washington for the 2023 World Bank IMF Spring meetings. I would also like to use this opportunity to give some updates on our engagements in Washington so far. With regards to our conversations with external creditors, our discussions with the fund and our development partners have been marked by a clear understanding of the need to restore macroeconomic and financial stability to Ghana and to promote our economic recovery as quickly as possible. We have highlighted the importance of revenue mobilization, expenditure control, and the implementation of decisive reforms to kickstart our growth. Encouragingly, there's broad alignment with the international community that our policy orientation is not only proactive but also well anchored, and they are convinced that they should support our overall ambitions in this regard. We are advancing our discussions with our international bondholders and other external commercial creditors. Earlier today, as you know, we hosted a successful webcast informing our commercial creditors of our economic and financial situation, while also highlighting the broad contours of Ghana's debt restructuring strategy. Our domestic debt holders have made significant sacrifices towards helping to reduce Ghana's debt servicing needs, and we are encouraging our commercial and foreign holders to also step up and contribute to the effort in the spirit of burden sharing. On the roadmap to an IMF board approval and beyond, in relation to the fund program, on the government side, we have made significant progress and have completed all prior actions agreed to with the fund. Additionally, the Paris Club has met and continues to meet to discuss the delivery of financing assurances. Based on our engagements, we expect these financing assurances to come in the next couple of weeks, thereby enabling Ghana's program to be presented to the IMF board for approval soon after that. Today's webcast was to engage our investors for their support for Ghana's program supported by the fund. We've also met with our development partners on the need to safeguard growth and private investments into Ghana. This government is determined to crowd in private sector growth to accelerate growth. In line with that, we also met with the leadership of the World Bank Group and the IFC earlier in the week and are looking to tailor a private sector focused strategy that ensures that over the next few years, the sectors that are vital to sustainable growth and job creation in Ghana will continue to be supported. We also joined ASSET run by KY Amwakon at a dinner to look at the growth strategy for Ghana as we move forward. On the issue of climate financing, as chair of the V20 group of finance ministers, I have also been engaging with private sector, multilateral institutions, international financial institutions, colleague ministers and foundations on the sidelines of the IMF World Bank meeting. I highlighted the need for all key stakeholders to form a coalition that will move to Paris, Nairobi, Marrakesh, and eventually Dubai for the COP28 gathering. I think our movement is gathering momentum on the critical transformation that must take place in the international financial system to ensure reforms in debt treatment, improve risk management through instruments like the G7 B20 Global Shield against climate risk, to address loss and damage, and the development of our carbon credit exchanges on a fair shares basis. This will be to ensure adequate investments into adaptation as well as resilience in climate vulnerable countries as the global north formulates and meets ambitious net zero targets that enable the world to maintain the 1.5 degrees temperature threshold. Noting that the world's top 20 emitters contribute 75% to global emissions and have 80 to 85% of the world's GDP, I have highlighted that the moral responsibility lays on these countries, G7 and G20, to drive the course correction and to pay for the socioeconomic losses and damages that has been caused as a result of their historical industrial activities.
So that was Ghana's Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta urging caution as to the date this deal will coming eventually. We'll be keeping tabs on this and we'll bring you an update in our subsequent bulletins. But let's now go back to our NDC story and get a national overview of how the party is handling these petitions. Joining us via Zoom is Deputy General Secretary of the party, Mustapha Gbande. Mustapha, grateful that you could join us there. Now, what's the latest on the petition processes? How many has the party been able to resolve so far? Mustapha, kindly unmute for me so we can follow what you're telling us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly.
All right, so thank you and good evening to your cherished listeners. So far, we have dispatched various teams to various regions where we have petitions and counter petitions for or against individuals who have been qualified or disqualified, who for one reason or the other feel that they've not been treated fairly, or they have a cause to believe that they shouldn't have been disqualified. And also those who have been qualified, but other people or party members feel that they should be disqualified for one reason or the other. So the appeals committee would be hearing on all of these issues. The second leg has to do with that aspect of the election guidelines, Article 4A, which is an issue that will be addressable by the Functional Executive Committee. So the Functional Executive Committee has put together a committee to address those issues. And so as of today, the teams have been dispatched. They will start their work between now and tomorrow. We should be able to have a report. And Head Office 2 is handling the various issues, particularly those ones that have to do with people or persons contesting in one constituency other than the constituency they are contesting. So in other words, say you are contesting in Greater Accra, but your original constituency is in the northern region. Those issues come directly under the jurisdiction of the Functional Executive Committee, for which a small committee has been put together to look into those issues and the merits. So far all the committees are working. Everything is smooth. After the committee is done, its report will come to FEC, because by the guideline, that matter is permanently an issue that will be handled by the Functional Executive Committee of the party. So a report will come from the committee. The Functional Executive Committee will accept or reject, and then we can move forward from there.
So when we come to Accra, one of the constituencies that was of interest to a lot of people had to be with the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency, where from the beginning, John Dumelo was given the go-ahead to be vetted. What has been the update on in terms of the other two people who were also vying for that seat?
Okay, so that issue about John Dumelo's constituency is a special case that the party is handling. Initially, there were some irregularity issues in terms of other candidates that are contesting, have filed to contest. But the party, through the vetting committee, is handling it as a special case, which the party is trying to resolve. And so once that is resolved, I'm sure that a verdict would be put out for the benefit of our listeners.
Well, today some group also organized a presser, all calling on the party to ensure that the right things are done. They even threatened that if their issues are not resolved, they would vote for other candidates in the 2024 elections. How is the party dealing with all of those to ensure that the party is still intact after all of these exercises?
Well, I think basically the party does not operate arbitrarily. The party operates under rules, under its constitution, and under the guidelines. And so you would expect that officials of the party would do the same and adopt righteous measures and discharging whatever function that the party has mandated them to do. And so our members will understand that the party is in to serve them. The party would at all times do that which is righteous, do that which is within the context of the law, within the context of the guidelines, within the context of the constitution of the party. And that means that at all times, the axe will fall on somebody. Someone who is not qualified, someone who does not pass the threshold of the guideline is not expected to be qualified. And in other words, anyone who meets the threshold or the guideline constitutionally as of right is expected to be qualified to contest. The party will not take a position to deny and disenfranchise or prevent people who fall within the rules from contesting. The party wouldn't do that. So they should be assured that the party would do that which is righteous because it is fortified to do same and will not subvert what they expect at the constituencies.
Mustafa Bandi, I'm grateful that you could join us. Now to the Ashanti region, where an independent candidate for the Kumewu by-election continues to gain popularity in the constituency as many show interest in the parliamentary seat. Kwekudua lost to the seized MP Philip Baswa by less than 3,000 votes in the 2020 parliamentary election. He believes developmental projects he has funded in the area put his candidature ahead of others. Now, he reviews the supporters who contested for polling station executives in the MPP were disqualified, hence the decision to contest as an independent candidate again. Meanwhile, 8 people are expected to file their nominations to contest the upcoming by-election on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party in the Kumewu constituency. Osei Shedia is the first to have submitted his nomination forms. Nana Aljima joins us on phone with more. Nana, you've been there. How many people have filed their nominations?
So by close of today, we have 8 people filing their nominations to contest for the primaries of the NPP in the Kumewu constituency. Now, apart from Kwame Osei Shedia, we had Kwame Yakubi Yalba, who is a former member of parliament of Kumewu constituency, also trying to stage a comeback. Now, Mr. Yalba was MP for 10 years before Philip Baswa took over or unseated him. Now, Dr. Abuajida Costa has also filed nominations to contest. Ernest Yao Enim, and also we have Dr. Philip Bano and Edward Osei. They are all contesting to become the parliamentary to lead the NPP as they go into the primary. Also, there's one female, the contest, but in the person of Amasewa. She today also came with her supporters who also filed to contest for the primary of the New Patriotic Party. And later today, we had some party executives of the NPP visiting the Kumewu constituency. Some from the National Party were all there. Some National Party executives, including the General Secretary, Mr. Kojo. He was also present on the ground together with the party organizer, Nana Boache. They were all on the ground to ensure that even after filing the nomination by these 8 people, they move to the constituency to at least speak to the delegates of the New Patriotic Party about how they can put themselves together and fight to win the party the seat at Kumaru or retain the seat.
So after filing, do we know when the vetting of these 8 people will come off to then decide on who amongst them will be able to contest?
So the vetting is expected to come off on Sunday, just this coming Sunday, and the election itself, if all these people are cleared, or the people who are cleared will go to the election on the Sunday after the coming Sunday. So we have the vetting on Sunday, that's the day after tomorrow, and a week after we have the contest itself being held. Now, the information that I am getting from the ground is that the party has a lot of divisions, and it's one of the reasons why today the executives from the national level and also some from the regional level all moved to the ground to close the ranks within the party. Aside meeting delegates, these executives also went to traditional authorities within the Kumaru constituency to also speak to them and get their support and also help them deal with internal party issues to ensure that MPP is able to close their ranks and fight for the seat once again.
Nana, I'm grateful to you. Now, you're still watching Joy News Prime here on the Joy News channel. Still to come here, Basic School in Obuasi shut down after youth attacked teachers for allegedly caning students.
Came around with other young men in the community to attack the teacher who beat his sibling.
Break. Now, the Odumaso Basic School in the Obuasi East District of the Ashanti region has been closed down following a violent attack on teachers for an alleged caning of a JHS 3 people. Now, some of the people told our sister station at Doom FM that the JHS 3 people was playing with mangoes while classes were ongoing. A teacher who saw the action proceeded to punish the said people. The people is said to have run to inform his relatives, who then rushed to the school with cutlasses and clubs to attack the teacher. 2 female teachers, one of whom was pregnant, are said to have sustained various degrees of injury. Some of the people spoke to Adum News.
We are pleading with the youth in the community. We want them to understand that the teachers are helping shape us. The gentleman came around with other young men in the community to attack the teacher who beat his sibling. The attacker's own sister held the cutlass he wielded to prevent him from using it, but he slashed her sister's palms with the cutlass. Another teacher who was pregnant sustained some injuries.
Now, the Obuasi East District Director of Education, Kwabena Owusu Nketia, confirmed the incident and indicated that the case has been reported to the police.
I
was informed that people had sustained a light injury after a teacher caned them. The school had been shut. I'm told that some people from the community stormed the school and attacked the teachers. About 6 or 7 people who carried clubs and cutlasses. And the worrying aspect of this story is that a sibling of the leader of the attackers, who was trying to prevent him from using the cutlass, sustained injuries when she tried to take the cutlass from him. It means that if he had come to meet the teacher who caned his sibling, the story would have been worse. The people who did this live in this community. The people know them. We should be able to arrest them and hand them over to the police so the teachers feel safe. In that case, the school can reopen.
Now, the Boise East DC for Misa condemned the incident and called on the committee members of the town to arrest the leaders of the disturbances and hand them over to the police. She joins us live now on the telephone lines. Now, grateful to have joined us. What steps have you taken on this sad incident?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. In fact, this morning I met the stakeholders of the community. I mean, the Queen Mother, the assembly member, the youth committee members, and encourage them to help arrest those people.
Well, so that's one step. We need to ensure that this doesn't.
They will assist the police to arrest them. I also engaged the teachers and assured them that it will not happen again. God will mandate us to come to school so that the people can be in school. But in the meantime, the teachers, in fact, they told me until those guys are arrested, they cannot come to school.
Okay. So what is the assembly doing, or what do you intend to do to prevent a further occurrence? Because like you said, you are assuring the teachers that that won't happen again. So what are you doing?
The assembly, like I said earlier, we are collaborating with the police to arrest those guys. And then after that, we will continue with the sensitization program in the community to let them be aware of the fact that resorting to violence is not the best way to deal with issues. If they have issues, we have SMC members in the community. They can go to them, they can go to the head teachers to express their views or their concerns. They don't have to attack teachers at school. So continue doing the sensitization in the community to avoid future occurrences.
Okay, I'm grateful to you. Now, we're also joined by Divine Pe, Senior Programs Officer at the EduWatch. Why do these things keep happening?
All right, thank you. Good evening to your viewers and to yourself. First, let me start by expressing my sympathy to the affected teachers, and then also express in clear terms our condemnation of the attack. It's quite continuous. If you monitor the news for a period, you have noticed that attack on teachers is quite on the high, and we need to condemn them in clear terms. And having said that, it's also very important for community leaders, the SMC and the PTA also, to send a tone that actually tells the community members, especially the youth, that they will not condone or shield anyone that will continue to threaten teachers or even attack them. But having said that, once there's a ban, because the central issue over here is about a teacher caning a pupil, and we understand that it has resulted in some minor injury. Once there remains a ban on corporal punishment, we also want to encourage teachers to live by that. Because the corporal punishment is to provide an avenue that only head teachers that can mete out a punishment. And it's very important that teachers also, as much as possible, we try to comply with that ban. Otherwise, I'm sure some of these issues will continue to reoccur. For the community members, as rightly mentioned by the DC, it's very important. If some of these issues are coming now, it's very important they use the law. They can report to the district as education directorate so that they can take action other than resorting to violence themselves. So we'll encourage community members, if it is about a teacher violating the ban on corporal punishment, instead of taking action into their own hands, they should also use the law. But going forward on the road, we need to have a conversation on the policy that actually ban corporal punishment in our school. Because if you do policy and practice prognosis, you understand that the acceptance of the policy by teachers is still hanging. We can say boldly that majority of the teachers have never accepted the ban of corporal punishment. We are recently doing a study on gender transformative education, and part of it is to understand how, or to the extent how teachers have accepted the corporal punishment. And we can say that majority of the teachers have never accepted the ban on corporal punishment. That gap that is existing in the policy actually needs to be addressed, and we have to have a conversation. The government will need to have a conversation with the teacher union. We have to review the policy we need to, and where there are gaps, we address. Otherwise, especially the acceptance, the policy acceptance on the part of teachers, so that we can address the hanging issue when it comes to the practice of the policy.
Okay, grateful to you, Divine Prayer, for joining us here. Now, let's talk about some boundary issues now, because the Ghana Boundary Commission is facilitating the construction of the first feeder road to the border community of Dollar Power in the Savannah region. This follows the Commission's first visit to the area in 2021. The road is being constructed by the Ministry of Roads with the 48 Engineers Regiment as contractors. Addressing the press during a visit to the area and a community sensitization program, National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, said the road will help with the regular inspection of the international boundary line between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. It will also help security agencies get easy access to the area. Maxwell Agbagba has more in the following report.
Welcome to Dollar Power. In this community, there are no access roads, so the community people only use motorbikes. We're here with the Ghana Boundary Commission. We are doing an inspection of Ghana's international boundary line with Cote d'Ivoire. Major General Emmanuel Kotia has been addressing the press after visiting the site himself on a motorbike. He says Ghana Boundary Commission is working together with the 48 Engineer Regiment to provide some feeder roads. This, he says, will help with the regular inspection of Ghana's international boundary line with Cote d'Ivoire. He says it would also improve security here in this community.
Tucked away from the eagle eyes of security agencies, some residents here are causing devastating damage to the environment with impunity. The lack of roads at Dollar Power has made policing very difficult. There is no police station. This has given rise to many challenges like illegal mining and more. Speaking during a sensitization program organized by the Ghana Boundary Commission, DC for the area, Veronica Alele, says the construction of the road will make the community easily accessible.
Bridge no yebeye enra womu de womu niema nyina besi ho se womu beye bridge no na womu ayi kwan no omu beyi kwan no fe e de amamu. We need to give them a feeder road because the border itself is motor lane. So if we have a feeder road, it will help the forestry to monitor the activities. It will also help the people themselves to actually monitor activities of criminals and all sorts of people, the ones who just come into Ghana and run back. So that will help them. And then the police station is very key. If we can need a post, a police post to put here, it will help.
A core function of the Ghana Boundary Commission is identifying challenges in border communities and collaborating with relevant state institutions to address them. The Commission is bringing together state institutions to address the challenges in Dollar Power. National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, says the Commission is facilitating the construction of a road. He says this will help with the regular inspection of the international boundary line between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. It will also help with regular patrols by the security agencies.
One of the key challenges that we found out here is accessibility, especially road accessibility to the area. As a result of that, security agencies and other agencies are not able to undertake. One thing we have done as a boundary commission is to facilitate the construction of a feeder road. And as I'm speaking to you, the 48 Engineer Regiment has started putting their resources together, and the feeder road is going to be constructed along the international boundary line to Dollar Power. In that regard, one is going to serve two purposes. The first purpose is for that road to aid inspection, regular inspection of the international boundary line and especially the pillars. And the second purpose is to aid any security agencies or any other agency like the Minerals Commission to undertake activities in this general area. You will realize that you can only access here, we can only access here by motor, and going around by air, and going around Dollar Power, we can only move around with motorbikes because
Speaking during a community sensitization program, Major General Imanokotia urged the residents to safeguard the international boundary line between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire.
We had reports about the tampering and displacement of boundary pillars in this community. We came for the inspection, verified a number of boundary pillars along the international boundary line between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire removed. As a result of that, we engaged the chiefs and community leaders of Dollar Power. Then we were able to identify some of the underlying reasons why this had happened. Partly because of illegal mining that was going around, just because people do not really understand why those pillars are there. Now, after the community sensitization during our visits, in subsequent periods, the people here came to an understanding and recognized that these pillars are very important landmarks for the country. I can happily announce that there have not been any tampering of the pillars since those that were identified in 2021. And I must say that the sensitization that went on during that period was very significant and helped to achieve this.
Vet Investment Limited.
We're outside, people. Kitty is outside.
Yeah.
I know you like that. So, for those of you asking, Kitty is outside.
Okay.
Kitty made a post this morning, a beautiful post about the fact that he's outside. He's been, off for 2 months, and there've been lots of speculation about, stroke and all of those things. And but he came out. So he made a post. Director, if we have the post, you can just put that on. Yes. Well, that's what he posted on his Instagram. He says that he is outside. He is back doing what he loves doing. So. So Kitty has returned to social media months after taking a break following a health complication. So in a post, obviously on his social media handles, the singer-songwriter said he appreciated the love and support he felt from fans, family, and all who reached out after he fell ill. Kitty noted that their actions and concerns comforted him in the difficult period, adding he is thankful to everyone. So this is actually a message from Kitty to everybody. I was saving this for this special day. Take a listen to Kitty.
Like you said, all over again, more music, more videos, everything, the same touring, we'll be touring as well. So that with the music and videos and more to come.
Come from Kitty, so you should be expecting a lot of stores coming up. There's more music coming up. I can't wait, to feel that we
vibe. We're outside thing, yeah,
and all of that. But Brace, I have 3 tickets going out for special viewers of ours. Well, you don't have to do anything. Just message me. No, just message.
No,
Brace.
message you.
Message all of us.
All of us.
Yeah, say something on the Joy News page or on the Joy Prime pages. You get to win this ticket to go for the Passion Night, the Betrayal. It's put together by Think Media. There's Van Veka on there. Just hold on to this one.
Okay.
This episode will be performing. And also we have, Dr. Likey, so Funny Face is in somewhere there. So
but Thomas is also in there.
Thomas is there. So you get, if you're lucky, just say something on the Joy News page, and then on the Joy Prime pages. Tell me you love me. Tell us which shows that you like best on the channels. Obviously, it should be E-Vibe, so you're not getting paid. So that's just about this particular event. But we have Friday karaoke for everyone. And which song is
Yeah, I've been thinking.
The song should be Champagne.
Exactly. We're happy he's back. So let's go with that.
So for our Friday karaoke is Champagne by Kitty. Let's go. It's the end of the week, we get to sleep more tomorrow morning. So I'm very excited. I don't know where you're going, but tell the DJ wherever you go that, play me Kitty, Champagne. You can play as Diana Hamilton.
But Becky, as we wrap up, please remember to brush your teeth before you go to bed this evening and tomorrow morning. When you wake up from bed, with brush with either Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, Pepsodent Charcoal, Pepsodent Herbal, or Pepsodent Triple Protection. Because with Pepsodent, every smile
matters.
All right, see you again. Prime Business is up next.
Wade Beverly Broom. Thank you so much. Enjoy yourself.